This is the NCN 6 o'clock news. Postmortems have been conducted on the remains of Rondell Feynman Rollins, Jermaine Charles called Skinny, and Sean Grant. A police source told NCN that forensic tests and fingerprinting were also done.
The post-mortem was conducted Monday morning by government pathologist Dr. Nihal Singh at the Georgetown Public Hospital. According to a source, the bodies were handed over to relatives following the post-mortem. Charles' body was not taken back to the Likens Funeral Home, but rather transferred to relatives to the Sandys Funeral Home. He is expected to be buried this Thursday. The source says the remains of Rollins is still at the parlor, and officials there are waiting word from relatives as to when the funeral will take place. Meanwhile, a police source says the men's fingerprints were also taken and are being compared to evidence gathered at a number of crime scenes, including the Lusignan, Bartica, and Lindo Creek massacres. The source says, too, that ballistics were also done on the two AK-47 rifles that were in Charles and Rollins' possession when they were killed to see if they are linked to a number of killings, including Lusignan, Bartica, and Lindo Creek. Meantime, NCN has learned that there are still doubts whether the joint services or Rollins and his cohort Charles may have killed Sean Grant, the man found behind one of the shacks where Skinny and Feynman reportedly flee when the confrontation initially started. Rondell Rollins and Jermaine Charles were killed during a confrontation with joint services Thursday last on the Linden-Soosdijk Highway. Rollins has over 41 murders to his name, including the 3 massacres earlier this year, earning him the highest ever bounty put on a criminal in Guyana's history. The man has been on the run for over 5 years and has managed to evade a number of joint services cordons. Charles, on the other hand, was on remand for some 14 murders, including former Agriculture Minister Satyajit Shah, his 2 siblings and security guard, the Kaieteur News pressman, and several others on the east bank of Demerara. He escaped from the Sparendam lockups following a court appearance there. Onika Jones, the 6 o'clock news.
In the meantime, Region 7 Chairman Halbert Knight says Barticians are relieved following the shooting to death of criminal Rondell Rollins and his accomplices. NCN also spoke with some Barticians who commended the joint services for a job well done. Details from Monica Jones.
According to some Guyanese, the recent shooting to death of Guyana's most wanted criminal Rondell Rollins and his accomplice Jermaine Charles has brought a sense of security in the country, and the region chairman Halbert Knight says the Barticians are relieved, noting that the area has changed following the massacre.
Persons were really scared, especially our kids, because the police vehicle, and these guys were dressed as police and so, but eventually it kind of went away, most of it.
Meanwhile, residents say they feel secure to know that the joint services has shown that they can undertake the task of capturing dangerous criminals.
I personally feel like it's a good thing, because larger and menace of society, you got to be eradicated. You can't be having people can't rest at night, got to studying what next, who next, and all this kind of thing.
We're looking back forward to a better living because Bartica was always a quiet place. We live as a family here. Nobody disturbs us, so that came as a shock to us.
It's hard to describe how I feel because, to be honest, sometimes you might say yes, it's good for them, and sometimes in the next state of your mind you say, man, you're sorry these things have to happen because we're all human. You understand? And we shouldn't err like that. You understand? That's me feelings. I know, but nobody else.
Everything back to normal. Everything, again.
On February 17th last, a group of about 20 heavily armed men on a shooting spree left 20 people, including 3 policemen, dead with several others injured. The group was believed to be headed by the notorious Rondell Rollins, called the Feynman. Ever since the attack, security forces have managed to kill several members of the gang who were in possession of weapons used in the killings. The Region 7 chairman says the community has returned to some state of normalcy. Onika Jones, the 6 o'clock news.
Well, in some news just coming to hand, the police were called in today as angry parents seeking transfers and placements flocked the Ministry of Education. Minister within the ministry, Dr. Desiree Fox, was on the scene and noted that the situation could not have been avoided had the necessary systems been put in place. Natasha Smith.
Angry parents at the Ministry of Education, 68 Breakdown Department, today got the attention of a few police officers as they expressed disappointment with the system they had to endure while seeking transfers or placements for their children. Parents say they have traveled for long distances only to be told that they had to return the next day, and some of them had to endure this for up to 2 weeks.
Okay, yes, we have some problems. We have some issues here. People are actually sleeping practically here at the Ministry at 68 Breakdown. We're trying to get some attention, lots of confusion. Some people are here to transfer, some come to receive placement letter, and we're not receiving adequate information. And this is bad, and this is what created this crowd here, because people, if they were given attention when they came into this compound, this crowd would not have been at this magnitude.
Minister within the Ministry of Education, Dr. Desiree Fox, was on the scene and tried to placate the frustrated parents. She also gave NCN her take on the situation.
Always said we need to give our parents information about how they should deal with their issues. And many of these, they want transfers. Many of these parents also come from different regions, from 6, from 10, from 1, seeking transfers. And there are some things that they have to do in their regions first before they come here. And because there's a lack of that information, officers telling them to come back tomorrow without giving them information, that is where the problem and the issues are. Because you come here to wait indefinitely in a line without no one telling you anything. So it was becoming worse today.
Dr. Fox says certain systems need to be put in place to ensure that the situation does not recur.
We need to have categories of people we are going to look at. So it's not just about one big long line and you're dealing with different issues. When in fact maybe today we can work on kids who have, for example, who are here to get stamps on their slips so that parents can go ahead and buy uniforms and all of that.
Several parents said they will keep returning to the ministry until their situation is resolved. Reporting for the 6 o'clock news, Natasha Smith.
Several regional dignitaries have dubbed the just concluded Caribbean Festival of Arts an incredible learning experience. Adding to that list is the chairman of the Regional Cultural Committee, Mr. Sidney Bartley, who in an interview with NCN expressed his thoughts about the opportunities CARIFESTA presents. More in this report.
The review of CARIFESTA 10 has been astounding, as several regional leaders and culture enthusiasts give their critique of the festival. Chairman of the Regional Cultural Committee, as well as Jamaica's Director of Culture, Mr. Sidney Bartley, says that as we move forward, we should also observe the many benefits of CARIFESTA celebrations in the future.
Looking at what exactly are we going to do in the Bahamas, we're looking at how to continue the process of building and strengthening CARIFESTA as a regional mega festival. We're looking specifically, for example, at how to make it a major tourism attraction, how to make it also a major income earner for the region.
Mr. Bartley also advises that the relatively poor status of Caribbean economies may pose some difficulty for the elaborate hosting of the festival.
You know, we're all poor economies. So when we have a mega festival like this, we've got to see how we can focus it on developing our cultural industries into an economic force, because so many other people make money off what we do, and it's just time for us to see how we can make money off some of the things that we have.
However, he says he was pleased to note that the Guyanese warmth and spirit are what made CARIFESTA worth the trip.
I must say, and I really wanted the opportunity to say, how amazing the Guyanese population has been. I've never been to a CARIFESTA, and I've been to a few, where the people of the country have so overwhelmingly received it.
Even as the closing ceremony was well underway last evening, questions were already being asked about the timetable date for CARIFESTA 11. To this, Mr. Bartley added,
Bahamas to announce.
All right.
Suffice it to say that all the countries have their own time, and it's a part of the way CARIFESTA is organized.
Felice Robertson for the 6 o'clock news.